Chapter 35. The thorn is firmly planted, always there, in the middle of my heart. I take the pain for granted, but sometimes I let it depart. Jenny had just had supper alone. Her mother was working late and her dad had a parent meeting at his school. She put the plate in the dishwasher and walked to her room with heavy steps. She sat down at her desk and let her head rest against her arms. Tears filled her eyes. It was inconceivable that her body could produce so many tears. She had been crying more in the last weeks than she had done in her entire life before. She just couldn't handle more crying. It was not physically possible. The tears left wet stains on the math books she had dutifully opened. Not that she had calculated anything. It was not just math she had stopped doing. She hadn't done a single piece of homework after Peter disappeared. As she watched the grey stains her tears made on the page, she read through the assessment or the assignment. It was a second-degree equation. She saw that it was an easy one. All the variables needed were clearly stated. All she had to do was put the values into the equation. Slowly, almost without thinking, she reached out her hand to grab a pencil. She solved the equation and wrote the answer in the margin. Then she read through the next assignment. It was trickier. She couldn't see which parameters to use. After a while, she realized she could calculate one of the values by using two of the given numbers. Once she had solved that task too, she moved on to the next one. Then she solved the next one. She continued obsessively and didn't finish until she had done the whole chapter. She lifted her hands above her head and stretched. The house was quiet. Strange. Her parents had come home a while ago, but now it was quiet. Had they already gone to bed? She glanced at the clock, a clock that was in the front wheel of a small toy motorcycle, and saw that it was 11:15. Jenny double-checked the time by looking at her watch. It really was 11:15. She had been working for hours. She had spent several hours without thinking about Peter. As soon as that thought entered her head, the hopelessness came back. Sure, she had solved many math exercises, but who cared? There was still nothing to look forward to. No surprises from Peter, no deep discussions with him, no lovemaking. She missed his lips against hers, she missed his arms around her. All of that was gone. Compared to that, solving equations meant nothing at all. On the other hand, she looked at the clock again. These hours were the first hours in weeks that had not felt like months. She knew there was no point in going to bed. She couldn't sleep nowadays. The only time she slept was when her body was so exhausted that she couldn't stay awake. Instead, she got up, walked to the door and picked up her backpack. She poked around a bit before she found what she was looking for. The chemistry book. Ulf was going to lower her grade this semester. She knew that and she understood him, but at least she could read through the chapters she should have studied before that stupid test in organic chemistry. She sat on the bed with her feet pulled up in a lotus position. She put the book on her crossed legs and read. It took a few minutes before she got the same flow she'd had with maths, but after a while it worked. Full concentration helped. For a moment, she felt something other than desperation and longing.